Hello and welcome to another casted game of Age of Empires 3D. We are still here with LopsidedFluff playing Stefan. It's a potential best of 5. In the first game, spoiler alert, Lop's India took on Stefan's Malta and Lop with India won on the lesser seen map Acropolis. Here we are now back on a much more familiar map to regular players of Quick Search, and that is Scandinavia, where I've already spotted that both players have picked up their blueberries treasure, which means they can gather from the blueberries at the same rate as normal hunts, although they won't get further upgraded. Interestingly, Japan here not starting with the blueberries? Is that right? Am I seeing that? No blueberries spawn for Japan? They just get the cherry orchard? That feels wrong to me. Is that like a map gen bug there? I feel like Japan either get double cherry orchards. Oh, they have got double cherry orchards, right? Yep. So their blueberries are replaced by a double cherry orchard, probably because the blueberries themselves are really rubbish. Like only 200 food rather than the 1000 you normally get from berry bushes. So that all makes sense. Meanwhile, the no crates are allowed. It's the no crates tournament. Sunbros 1v1. Don't know if I remember to say that at the beginning. 3 fishing boats coming in for Japan as their first card. It's a nice card to pick, especially on this map where there is lots of fish and 2 options for where you're going to put it. So there's every chance your opponent might never notice, especially if you don't follow it up with a dock whatsoever. 2 shrines also down for Lop. Oh, you hate to see it though, not going to be able to get a maximum efficiency from this shrine because there are only 6 animals in this hunt. Meanwhile, we've got Stefan playing Germany. Doing some work here on this. Very nice. 85 wood for 3 wolves. That feels like a pretty good value proposition treasure to me. Especially these wolves. Very old school, very like old school vanilla Age of Empires 3 Treasure Guardian behavior, doing a great job of microing the boundary, the aggro boundary there. Now going to come in. Is the crack shot ready, Stefan? Yes, it is. Finish off that last one with the crack shot. 85 wood in the pocket. Bemo. That's going to come in really handy, of course. Germany, always on the lookout for market upgrades in the early game, and always on the lookout for extra houses in that kind of early to mid game. We'll just check what Germany are going to click up with now. Saved up for 900 there, but I think it was just a delay going up with the quarter. For a second, I thought we were going to get the logistician, which would be fun. Japan also on their way up, a little bit ahead, it seems, with the Tsogu Shrine. Second shipment is available for Japan. You could think about Heavenly Kami, but it looks like Lop's not going for it. Germany obviously opened up with 2 settler wagons. I didn't need to tell you that. You knew that. It was obvious. Interestingly, do you have Prince Electors available in this deck? The deck itself, kind of a versatile Age 2 or Age 3 deck, so we don't really know how we expect Germany to play this. Have got the Church card in there, which will give access to some nice unit shipments in Age 3. Have also got the crazy Circle Army in there. You can read the description of Circle Army in your own time. I'm not going to explain that one to you. Japan, for their part, you've got your 4 villages, got the new 5 shrines card. I always think that's a real, for me, that's a real meta-changing card for Japan. I know 5 shrines, 4 shrines was the big difference, but it's 5 shrines. You're going to send that now rather than 600 wood. That means you're probably not going for the Portuguese consulate because the shrines are just better value this way. As a little accidental attack move flair there from Lop. And that means your consulate is freed up to do something else in the early game, so you can start to think about the Spain alliance, you can start to think about isolation. So anyway, really really like the addition of the 5 shrine card, and we're seeing it used here fairly unsurprisingly in the beginning of Age 2 by Lop. So, Japan doing what they do in early Age 2, putting down a load of shrines, spinning up a nice eco. Actually have quite invested in quite a lot of shrines prior to these 5 coming out. So it looks like they're going to be up to 140, which means 13 shrines, including the 2 that are the Shogu. That's a really nice bit of extra economy on top of their 19 villages at this stage. Note 5 shrines being sent a second time, so going to be up basically to maximum shrines. Wonder if we might see like a late Heavenly Kami, just to get that slightly better resources. What's Heavenly Kami worth with 20 shrines on the map? Probably like 3 or 4 villages, I would have thought. Anyway, for let's say for Germany, we've started with the classic 8 crossbow and 2 Olans. Now we're going into 3 settler wagons and 2 more Olans. So a nice early Age 2 exploratory force coming out here. It's going to meet Japan's musketeers. We've just got 4 Sharagu musketeers, another batch on the way, but it's not going to be filled up to 5. Might be filled up to 3 or 4. Nope, it isn't. So just the 6 there. And Germany is coming in and immediately started anti-Japan measures, sieging down their shrines. But the problem is, and this is why playing against Japan is so annoying and so different. It takes so long to siege down the shrines, even though they've only got 1300 HP. It's not a lot, but they're all over the place. Your units have to walk over here, walk over there, find the shrines, watch out for the enemy army if it comes in and tries to kite you. It's a real chore. So Japan now got 10 Asharagu, going to have a shipment of 5 more arriving. Got another batch in, so we'll be up to 20 pretty soon. Germany definitely can't dive in with this army. That is enough to repel them from that, but Germany choosing to go for a slightly different tactic. We've got more crossbows coming here, so a total of 12 crossbow, which is pretty good. The 2 settler wagon shipment on top of the 3, so maximum economy there, something like 30 villager equivalent. Japan not doing too bad on the old economy either though. 23 villagers and a full complement of shrines. Ulan's coming around here looking for a raid. Don't know what those villagers were doing out there. Being greedy with the second gold mine for no good reason, I'm guessing. Now the Ulan's kind of leading the musketeers on a bit of a dance. Oh no, don't go that way. Oh, that's unfortunate. If they'd kept running the wider path there around, they would have gotten away with it. But it does mean that Stephen knows that Lop's musketeers are all the way over there. He saw all of them there. So he's got time to stick around here and do some damage. Got a few crossbowmen at the front fighting on the Explorer. Going to be able to get these barracks down and now has the choice to stay or to leave. Choosing to leave. Well, I was going to say choosing to leave wisely, but it looks like he's actually choosing to stay. Sentries called for Lop. Going to get good value out of those sentries, I guess. Kept the army occupied for a couple more volleys from those Sharagu, which is pretty nice. Now, I don't love this decision to split. Stefan really, wasn't sure. Was he in? Was he committed? Was he running away? Tried to kite a little bit, but I don't think that kiting was getting any value. I really don't like leaving these crossbowmen out here on their own. Yes, they're the right counter, and the musketeers don't want to be fighting them, but you need the numbers. You need to be giving it everything if you're going to try and fight this and win it right here. Ulan's coming on top of the Explorers and finishing them off really nicely. Japanese Explorers up and down and up again. Very, very rapidly. It's just more and more Asharagu for Japan. There's absolutely no interest in changing the plan, diversifying the army. We've got the shipment of 5 being sent for the second time. Another batch in queue. That batch is now fill up, so going to have 10 more on the field in a minute. Germany kind of feels like the momentum has been lost. They do seem to have the superior economy, although I'm not sure anymore. It's close, but I think with all the settler wagons involved, they still have just about got the superior economy. Turning it into crossbowmen, I mean, why not go for tons and tons of crossbowmen? Your opponent is only putting out a Sharagu. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's kind of the opposite of when Lop was being aggressive in the previous game. It just doesn't feel like they were getting great value out of those skirmishes. And I'm going to put some of that down to the micro kind of being an attempt to kite in and out a little bit, but crossbowmen don't really kite as well as skirmishers do. I wonder whether Stefan would benefit from thinking about age 3 here. Yes, it's a big old ask when you haven't got the 700 gold shipment to help you get there. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel like this crossbowman plus a little bit of Ulan composition is doing the business against these Asharagu. Asharagu haven't been upgraded, but that Asharagu Musketeer attack card is in the deck. So we could expect to see that come in soon and give this Japanese army a bit of a boost. Japan now feeling confident enough to push forward a bit. Going to find 3 Ulan for their trouble, which is a really nice thing to come across when you've got loads of musketeers that can take them down pretty cheaply. Now actually coming into the base, going to threaten some buildings, maybe some houses, or maybe go for the TC. Japan do know where the German army is because the German army has been out, as you have to do, sieging down the shrines. I have to say I do feel very sympathetic for Stefan. It must be feeling like, and maybe watching this back is feeling doubly frustrated that I've spent so much time walking around, sieging down these shrines, and look, my opponent's still sitting on 180. So pretty much still on maximum shrines, just able to build them back so easily and so rapidly. Japan now allied up with the Dutch and getting the bank wagon in for an extra economic boost. Lop really definitely decided that the way to win this is just going to be to outboom, out-eco. Even though against Germany that's pretty questionable. I guess if they're not going up to age 3, then aside from having those settler wagons, things are going to start to wear off. Here we see another fight. Germany using their Minutemen, a large horde of crossbowmen, and they've got the numbers advantage here. But the Ulans are down, and look, here it comes, the cav switch. Oh, it was sort of predictable, wasn't it? The problem is as well, if you're facing this is the thing about kind of solo musketeer comp in age 2, right? You respond to it with crossbowmen, but you really need to go all in with crossbowmen in order to get much of an edge, because crossbowmen aren't massively advantaged against musketeers. But then you go solely crossbowmen, you're vulnerable to this. Just 5 cavalry. I mean, yes, they're very expensive. Lop has had to invest a lot of resources in those cavalry. But just 5 cavalry absolutely cleared up and turned the tide on that fight there. And of course, you try to mix in a certain number of pikemen into the army as a sort of precaution against this cav switch. But unless you've got absolutely loads of them, those pikemen can just get picked off by the musketeers before the cavalry arrive. So it's a really difficult position for Germany here. Obviously, big Germany can't respond with musketeers of their own. Want to be able to go to age 3. Kind of, I think this is one of the games where the no crates rule has had the biggest impact. Because I think they certainly would be looking to go to age 3 if this was a normal game. But it's that much harder when you're trying to keep the pressure on your opponent. You know your opponent's trying to boom, gradually trying to sneak out and assert control over more and more of this map with these shrines. And you want to keep them in check. And you don't have that 700 gold shipment to pull you through. Now Germany having to send Treaty of Westphalia. It's probably just 2 Ulans at this point. Doesn't feel like a great situation for them to be in. Lop's actually starting to open up quite a significant lead on the score. is also got the Golden Pavilion under construction for Age 3. It's now going for Naginatas and Sharigu, effectively a musk and husk composition. It's got 40 villagers, plays 37. Okay, that's actually more like 45 because settler wagons, but Japan have also got the bank and a bazillion shrines, so it's probably something more like 52 for them. So, yeah, a modest eco lead for Japan, but it is starting to stack up over time. Germany really want to get some good value trades here. Fully committing to the bow pike here. Not much in the way of upgrades for these bows and these pikes. They have got hand infantry attack on the pikemen. Looks like something's giving them 10% extra HP. Don't know whether that's like an arsenal tech or something. Maybe something from the church card. Need to get what all the church cards are on my cheat sheet. Oh, I used to have the mod. The mod's not working. I'll fix that. Anyway, interesting situation here. The German army sizing up Japan. Probably in two minds about pushing in. They kind of need... I mean, it feels like their situation is only going to get worse the longer they wait. But it also doesn't look good right now. You've got all infantry and you're staring down some Yumi, some flaming arrows, and you know that's just the vanguard effectively. So you really want some Uhlans that you can put into little tactical positions. Oh no, this is not good though. A bunch of crossbows got left on their own away from the rally point with no pikemen to protect them. The Naginatas are going in. Reinforcements being pulled to try and get there as quickly as possible, but the forest blocks them out. I think about 10 crossbows were lost for free there. Germany also really wants an answer to these flaming arrows. Look at this. Japan doing a great job of drag boxing them into the middle of the group so that the Uhlans cannot penetrate and get through. The Uhlans all go down, and so it's going to be up to the pikemen to fight their way through to the middle and take out those flaming arrows. Lopsided also very wisely moves the Naginata away while the pikemen are doing this, so they're facing the choice. A few of the pikemen did go and chase down those Naginata, but they all perished before anything was achieved, and no one was left over to penetrate and get rid of the flaming arrows, who are then therefore free to go and shoot at this infantry army. Oh, look how quickly those pikemen got wiped out. That was absolutely tragic. The German army is cleaned up, massive difference in the scores, and I think we all know where this is going now. Yeah, Stefan throws in the GG. Wow, well, pretty exhausting game to commentate that one. Definitely felt like it was really close a lot of the way through, but then at some point Japan just kind of hit escape. I almost think it was the point where that bank went down. The musketeer crossbow trades are interesting. Really, I think really interesting learning opportunity just how badly that crossbow army was doing. There was the one fight over here where they had the musketeers outnumbered slightly, and they really cleaned up well there. But then just literal seconds later, the Naginatas came in, and that was the end of that superior crossbow army. Unfortunately, you've got to say, Stefan, despite doing a good job of early pressure, and I think if we look at the military score, we'll see... That's not military score. We'll see quite an edge for Stefan in the early game with that military score. Doing a good job of sieging down the shrines, putting pressure on Japan, but unfortunately Japan's able, just with those shrines, all that space they claim, their base being very, very safe, able to withstand the storm. And we see roughly equivalent armies, trades pretty equal through this back half of the mid-game here. And then eventually Japan just managed to make it up to Age 3, got that bank down, which I think was absolutely crucial. As far as I can tell, they just They've got a little bit of an injection from the Shogu Shrine age up, but mostly just earned that export organically. And that's what gave Japan the edge, because villager-wise, obviously they were behind, thanks to Germany's settler wagons. But it's the shrines and the bank that did the job for them in that game. And that's going to mean that the set moves to match point 2-0 to Lopsided Fluff. We've got at least one more game still to go, and I'll see you for that one very, very soon. But for now, goodbye.